my friends, welcome back to the channel. I am Huck, and today we're talking about music and bands and all that good stuff. Got my festive clothes on, got the shades on, because it's all about those bands. Actually, fake bands. That's right, I love fake bands. I love when television and film put together this golden nugget of a band that's just fake, but it's for entertainment purposes only, and the music is so good you want to listen to the single or buy the soundtrack and play the songs over and over. So that's what leans into my choice of who I pick in my top 10. So let's get to it, y'all. Sit back and relax as I talk about my favorite top 10 fake bands. All right, y'all, this is just a lot of fun. It's so, my wife thinks I'm kind of weird that I have this sort of fake band fetish. Like, I even have a playlist on my iTunes that says fake bands. And it's just like a collection of cool songs from bands that were assembled for television or film to entertain us or tell a story with these groups. And that's what this is, and it's all about like loving those songs and playing those songs over and over. For example, we'll just jump right into it with number 10, and we're going to go with The Wonders from the movie That Thing You Do. The movie's from 1996 and was written and directed by Tom Hanks and stars Liv Tyler, Tom Everett Scott, Steve Zahn, and so many others. It's basically a story about a local Pennsylvania band that scores this one-hit wonder, That Thing You Do, in 1964, and they just milk the success of that song for as long as they can with the help of their manager, which is played by Tom Hanks. And if you've seen it, this was nominated for Best Song, That Thing You Do. So we're going to lean into That Thing You Do is my favorite song. And the next song I'm going to lean into is Dance With Me Tonight. I thought that was a pretty good song. Had a nice tempo to it. They all have kind of that, like, that same 60s vibe to them. But yeah, so we're going to start off this countdown at number 10 with The Wonders. All right, y'all, here we go. At number 9, we're going to have some fun with this countdown, too, because at number 9, not all bands have to be on Earth. Oh, no. This one here is from outer space. You know them, you love them. We're talking about Figrin D'An and the Modal Nodes from Star Wars. The Cantina scene, to be exact. You all know this thing. It's so famous. When you get to it, it's like, doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. Right? Everybody knows that. I even had to look up the names of these songs because on the soundtrack it's like Cantina Song 1 and 2. There's actually names to them. And the first one that I'm going to pick, the main song that I'm going to say is my number 1 song, is that one, and that is called Mad About Me. Now, there is another song that you kind of hear during that scene in the cantina, and it's just the one that kind of goes ba-ba-da, ba-ba-diddle-do, ba-ba-diddle-diddle-do. All right, so that is the runner-up song I would pick, and that is called Tears of Aquana. So yeah, there you go. But that's the fun of this thing. These are legit songs. Like, I'm not kidding. When I picked this band stands out. Everyone knows, like, even when you're collecting like toys as a kid and you see the band member, I'm like, dude, it's a band member. I got a 12-inch version of that band member and a small one. And just because they're so memorable. And when you get to that track on the soundtrack, that's not a skipping soundtrack. You don't skip that one. You listen to it because amongst all this great orchestral score, John Williams has created this like realistic, futuristic jazz track, 2 tracks that go into this scene that are just so good. So for that, at number 9 is Figrin D'An and the Modal Nodes. All right, at number 8, the playfulness continues. It wasn't intentional. When I was like setting the order, these two sort of fell right next to each other. So we're going from outer space to basically inanimate. But we are picking Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. Oh, yeah!
1, 2, 3, 4!
If you guys have seen the Muppet movie, I mean, come on. They put out some killer tracks. And even the show Mayhem that's on Disney Plus, the CD that they crank out, it's really good rock blues stuff. What I love about the Henson Group is they don't just throw away their music numbers. They actually count. They make them something special. And the performance of these Muppets when they are performing is nothing short of astounding. So my favorite song from this band, of course, has got to be Can You Picture That? Dun dun. Can you picture that? And when they sing that in the Muppet movie, when Kermit and Fozzie come up upon them and they're just rocking out and they introduce themselves like, Janice, for sure, man.
For sure, really.
You know, Floyd and all those guys.
I'm Floyd, I blow bass.
It's just amazing. And you meet Animal for the first time. The whole band just kind of like is this great little stopping moment in that movie and super memorable, right? So you got to go with that. And the Muppets have gone on to do some pretty funny parodies, especially the Bohemian Rhapsody one that's on YouTube right now. But that's more of a Muppet ensemble parody, and I'm going to stick to Dr. Teeth and the Band. So the number one song with Dr. Teeth and the Band is Can You Picture That? And we'll go Rock On as the backup song. So if you have not seen, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave links to every one of the number one songs that I pick for each one in the description below. So if you want to see what captures the spirit of each of these bands, go check them out. So at number 8, Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem.
Golden teeth and golden tones. Welcome to my presence. Thank you.
Okay, the band here at number 7, this is the one that kind of when people think of fake bands, this is almost an instantaneous thing that pops into your head. And that is Eddie and the Cruisers. That's right. Eddie and the Cruisers is a movie from 1983 directed by Martin Davidson, and it stars Michael Pare in the lead role. Also stars Tom Berenger and Joe Pantoliano. And it's basically the story of this newswoman who picks up a story of a 1960s rock band whose lead singer has gone missing, right? And he may still be alive, all while searching for the missing tapes of the band's never-released album. And yeah, so this is definitely one, I think when people think of fake bands, Eddie and the Cruisers is right up there. My favorite song from them is On the Dark Side. Absolutely great airplay on this song. Played it a lot. Even the flip side, like the B, I call it the B side, is Tender Years. I love that song, like right on par with that one. And the band who actually sang for Eddie and the Cruisers was the John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. And they did the actual vocals for these tracks. And they're outstanding. So again, I will leave the links to these music videos so you can get the vibe of what these fake bands are all about. But definitely you can't have a top 10 fake band list without Eddie and the Cruisers.
All right. All right.
All right, at number 6, we sort of pump up the energy with this next band. It is an all-female band, and that's right, we're going Josie and the Pussycats. Long tails and ears for hats. Come on, who doesn't know some Josie and the Pussycats? I mean, this movie's from 2001, directed by Harry Elfont and Deborah Kaplan, obviously based on the cartoon of the same name, starring the rockin' trio of Rachel Lee Cook, Tara Reid, and Rosario Dawson. It's basically the story of a girl group that find themselves in the middle of a conspiracy to deliver subliminal messages through their popular music. And of course, you have the boy band Du Jour, led by Seth Green. Like, they're hilarious. This is a fun movie, man. Like, talk about a great little fake band and some catchy music. And you definitely got to go with Three Small Words as my favorite song from this band. Followed up as a nice number 2 runner-up would be Spin Around. I like that one as well. So yeah, man, just, you know, these girls do such a great job bringing the cartoon of Josie and the Pussycats to life. They're just pitch perfect. The girls chosen to play these roles were spot on. So if you want to check out the rival of Du Jour and Josie and the Pussycats, go check it out. But here they sit at number 6. Okay, at number 5, I love this soundtrack. This is definitely the situation where I would say when this movie first came out, I loved the soundtrack more than I loved the film. I've come to love the film even more now, and that is Walter Hill's Streets of Fire. And I'm talking about Diane Lane's band, Ellen Aim and the Attackers. That was the band that played on stage at the end of the film, and those two songs were just so poppin'. They're full of high energy. I love the sound of them. I love the sound of them so much. Fire Incorporated is the band that actually played the music for it, that I kept looking for albums from Fire Incorporated because I wanted more music from that band. Little did I know it was just a band assembled to play the two songs on that soundtrack. But I play the tar to that soundtrack. And of course, my favorite of those two songs has got to be Tonight Is What It Means to Be Young. Tonight is what it means to be young. No, 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 so good. And then the runner-up, Nowhere Fast. Like, there's only two songs, so 1 and 2. But those songs were so good, it just made me literally seek out a band that didn't exist. And I played the heck out of that soundtrack. If you haven't seen this movie, it's basically it's from 1984, directed by Walter Hill, and it stars Diane Lane as the lead singer. Michael Pare is back in the countdown here. He's not part of the band; he just happens to be in this movie as well. But and Willem Dafoe as the gang leader, and basically it's the story of a mercenary played by Michael Pare who's hired to rescue his ex-girlfriend, who is the singer, and she's been kidnapped by a motorcycle gang, and that's Willem Dafoe's thing. And even Rick Moranis is in this as her agent. He's hilarious. So check out this movie. It's even called A Rock and Roll Fable. So you've really got to like deliver something really catchy and entertaining musically to call yourself a rock and roll fable. Otherwise, the whole film just doesn't work. I mean, you know, it's a big kidnapping action kind of film, but it's got music as its background, as the heart. And I just love the soundtrack, and I love those two songs to death. So here we go. At number 5, the Streets of Fire Band, Ellen Aim and the Attackers. At number 4, this next band is aptly named School of Rock, from the movie School of Rock, which came out in 2003, directed by Richard Linklater, starring the amazing Jack Black. It also co-stars Joan Cusack, who I also love and stuff. But Jack Black is just perfect in this role. Basically, the story is Jack Black's character, Dewey Finn, has been kicked out of his rock band, and he becomes a substitute teacher of this uptight elementary private school, only to try and turn his class into a rock band. And these little kids, man, these kids in the class are hilarious. They are so perfectly cast. And Jack Black he just cultivates them. He makes them find their love for music, which is why I kind of love this topic. You know, it's like finding that love for music and what each one can bring to this band. Each one has something special. And when you get to the end of this movie, there's some great songs. So, of course, my number 1 pick is School of Rock, the very song with the same title as the movie, School of Rock. It's amazing. It's excellent. Each person has their little moment in the song, like I was talking about, so that's awesome. And, of course, the second one is It's a Long Way to the Top if you want to rock and roll. The personality that Jack puts behind all of his tunes is just, I mean, you can tell he's going for it. So I got to give a really high spot to Jack Black and the whole team in School of Rock.
It's an encore. They want us to go play another song. It's good. Go, you guys. Wait, no, just the band. Okay, everybody, go.
All right, everyone. At number 3, we're going to get a little rock and roll from England here. We're going to talk about, that's right, Spinal Tap. That's right, the boys from This Is Spinal Tap. I mean, come on now, this is such a great... I'm going to do it the whole time. I'm going to commit to this fake accent the whole time. It's fake bands, so I'm going to have a fake accent the whole time. So here we go. It's basically a film from 1984 directed by the amazing Rob Reiner, and stars Michael McKean as David Hubbins, Christopher Guest as Nigel Tufnell, and Harry Shearer as Derek Smalls. So the movie, This Is Spinal Tap. It's basically one of England's loudest bands. And it's being chronicled by the film director Marty DeBurgi on what proves to be a fateful tour for this band. And basically, they just put together these outrageous songs. When you watch it, it's hilarious. If you haven't seen this, it's sort of like writes the whole book on mockumentaries, right? It's made to feel like a real live documentary about this band. And this band pumps out, and musically, this band, let's just say it, they pump it up to 11. That's right, they make it to 11. But Huck, why don't you just make it 10 and make 10 the highest? but that one goes to 11.
These go to 11.
And that's what this movie does. This movie goes to 11 when you play these songs. In fact, you got to go, my favourite song from this film has got to be Big Bottom. Big Bottom, Big Bottom, talk about mud flaps, my baby's got 'em. That's great, as they really push the envelope in this movie. And the second one has got to be, I like Stonehenge in the movie because it's outrageous. A little tiny piece of Stonehenge comes down on these wires, and these two little, I don't know, are they leprechauns? Are they munchkins? I don't know. They're little people, and they start just dancing about during the bit. And you're like, what is going on? And then at some point, like, the Stonehenge starts moving like it's dancing. It's just absolutely hilarious. So if you want to see a great band, an absolutely gifted band that's just absolutely hysterical at the same time, you must agree that Spinal Tap belongs right here at number 3.
These go to 11.
At number 2, if you've seen my channel a lot, you know that I have a love for this music, this movie, and this band. And I'm talking about The Commitments. You might be saying, Huck, well, why aren't you going for the Irish if you're doing the... All right, fine, I'll give it a go then. All right, so basically, the movie The Commitments, it's from 1991, directed by the fantastic Alan Parker, and it stars a bunch of, basically, no big star is in this film, right? Because the director wanted it to feel like an actual band. In fact, the actors themselves had to know how to play music before he could actually hire them to be the actors. So rather than an actor learning to play, it was basically a musician learning to act. And they're just stupendous. And boy, when you get to rocking out on these, this soundtrack is absolutely phenomenal. The great song that everybody knows has got to be Mustang Sally. You know, Mustang Sally! Guess you better slow that Mustang down. And in the film, if you watch it, the band manager, his name is Jimmy Rabbit. He tells them, don't sing with an Irish accent. Sing with an American accent. It's how all the Brits do it. If you listen to the Beatles don't sing with a British accent. They all try to sing with like an American accent. It makes them more sellable globally that way. But you just got to watch it. The band, they're always at each other's throats. They're a hellacious bunch together. But boy, when they put their voices together, their music is absolutely sublime. So I got to put them right up there. I'll make Mustang Sally me number 1. But number 2, I just love the soul of this song. And it's at the dark end of the street. That is where we always meet. At the dark end of the street is me backup number 2, and me band number 2, The Commitments.
Do you not get it, lads? The Irish are the blacks of Europe, and Dubliners are the blacks of Ireland, and the Northside Dubliners are the blacks of Dublin. So say it once, say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud.
All right, we're finally here at number 1. I promise the bad accents are done. We're over. But look, I tell you what, before we get to number 1, let's just throw out a couple of honorable mentions that are fun. And these didn't quite stick the landing on full fake bands because maybe they don't really have like a soundtrack to listen to, or not a ton of great songs that I remember for me personally. But I do love that they are a band. The first up is going to be Buckaroo Banzai and the Hong Kong Cavaliers. I just love that Buckaroo Banzai is so multi-talented that not only is he a scientist, but he's also, you know, a rock band, a rock star. So I just love that. And from television, you got to go the Partridge Family. Man, like when I was growing up, it was like Gilligan's Island, Brady Bunch, Partridge Family. And, you know, it was just this great little family unit that would put on these shows. It was like a couple of songs per show that you get. And, you know, that theme song, Hello World, here's a song that we're singing. Come on, get happy. I mean, man, that was just like every time that would kick in, you'd sing along and it'd put you in a good mood. So you got to go the Partridge Family. That was a great fake band. It's a family band at that. And then, of course, the Monkees. The Monkees was another TV show that became super popular, and they actually made a lot of albums. It's kind of like our answer to the Beatles, and they were just sort of put together for this show and then just became super popular. Another really good, catchy theme song, you know, hey, hey, we're the Monkees, and people say we're monkeying around. Like, it just It's something about like a catchy theme song. That's all I needed, apparently. And then finally, I would say the band
Wild Stallions!
So the reason I'm making Wild Stallions an honorable mention, it's basically because the band never really came together and put together a collection of great songs that you sit down and listen to. And that's kind of the premise of this, is not only are they great bands, but the music is fun to listen to. So even though Wild Stallions is important to the universe, I wouldn't say that their song selection is high on my list. But nonetheless, it's important to include, at least in the honorable mentions,
Wild Stallions! Excellent!
All right, now, to the number one fake band of all time. Well, let's just telegraph it right now. Coming to you on a dusty road. That's right, Blues Brothers, baby. That's right, all you cool cats. The Blues Brothers is a movie from 1980, directed by the great John Landis, starring John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. They're basically Jake Blues comes out of prison, met by his brother Elwood Blues, and they just go on this journey to reunite their old R&B band and save a Catholic home where the two of them were raised. And they have to outrun police as they tear through Chicago. It's mayhem, it's blues music, it's outstanding. I just love the Blues Brothers. This is legit one I have the soundtrack for. I have several Blues Brothers albums, and I just love that these two actors on Saturday Night Live, Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi, created these two characters on the show, and it turned into the movie, and then it turned into actual music you could buy albums and soundtracks for. It's just incredible. And he's really good. Like, Belushi's really good. Now, as a jokey one, Rubber Biscuit, that's the one that Dan Aykroyd sang, Rubber Biscuit. I mean, that's definitely not the one I'm going to pick, because I want the ones that really drive, that really rock. And my number one is going to be Soul Man. I'm a soul man. Ba-da-ba-ba-da. But they have so many other good ones. You gotta love Give Me Some Lovin', and then Everybody Needs Somebody. I mean, like, that soundtrack is just so good, and so is some of their follow-up albums. The Blues Brothers, man, has got to be my number one fake band of all time. Let's get it, y'all. All right, my friends, that is going to do it for this top 10 fake bands of all time. What did you think of my top 10 list? Did you like the bands I had on there? Did I forget one that you love? Say, oh, fuck, this is my favorite fake band. Let me know in the comments below who that band is, maybe a good song or two that you like from them. And remember, in the description below, I will leave links to all the videos, to at least the number one videos of each band I mentioned in the top 10. All right, y'all, this video brought you here. Thank you so much for coming here. I really appreciate that. But gotta do me a favor, get on down there, hit like, subscribe, smack the bell, share the video, tell your friends this crazy redhead's got a fun channel, and to come check it out. All right, you guys are the best. Let's leave it. Rock it out. Dun, 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 coming to you on a dusty road.